A franchise disclosure document is an important part of the process, and it needs to be handled with care and adequate consideration. A skilled franchise development manager at BrandONE takes every candidate through a full review of the FDD. We take them through 23 items of disclosure. The reason that's important is the fear and anxiety that is predictably going to occur with the candidate when they review the FDD for the first time. BrandONE takes the fear and mystery out of it. We make it palatable. We give them the education on the FDD so they understand the disclosures entirely. Not only is this critical for the candidate because they need to understand all the details of the franchise offering, it's also critically important to the franchisor. The worst case scenario is when you bring on a franchisee, when they become part of your family, they say, nobody told me about that in the process. The franchise disclosure document is required in any state that you're going to franchise. Once you have a franchise disclosure document in conversation, that's when you integrate with BrandONE. BrandONE will help you in crafting the story in the development manual so it become a development tool and an asset and a resource for you, but we don't create the FDD. That's a legal process. Once that's in place, BrandONE will come in, we create the tipping point, and we create the acceleration of your growth so you can achieve your objectives and scale out to a national brand. Now, what BrandONE's skill set is looking through the performance of all the units system-wide. We can start cutting the data, we can group the data, and then we can actually present a financial story that's compelling and very powerful as it relates to the franchise disclosure document. This is part of our process. So as we engage with a company, we actually go and evaluate all aspects. What's their systems? What's their team? What's their core competencies? Where's their gaps? What's their financials? We'll help them craft a better story in their FDD that's very compelling and helping candidates get over the hump. Our process educates the candidates from disclosure, from the opportunity, and then all of the different systems that are happening within your franchise program so they're better prepared to be successful.
If you're looking at a franchise disclosure document, the very best thing you can do is take a look at the footnotes first so you understand the context of what you're getting into. Am I looking at one store's example or am I looking at the entire chain's example? So when we work with prospects, we make sure that they read the footnotes first, they understand what it is that they're looking at. At the end of the day, you have to deal with the facts the way they are, not the way that you want them to be. And I say that because the candidate has to be able to fund the project. And if there's surprises, then in 30 years of franchising, if you want to ruin a relationship, then you give surprises and gotchas and that type of thing. So when we work with brands, we're critical, we're clear on the mission that the candidate knows what they're getting into. So look, life is a bell-shaped curve. You've got people over here and you got people over here. Franchising, whether you're new or whether you're a mature brand, is a bell-shaped curve. And you have people that are just crushing it, doing amazing numbers. You've got people in the middle, and you got people that maybe aren't following the business model. From the brand's perspective, you want to show everything. I love putting things in quartiles. It tends to tell the truth. Data doesn't lie. Here's the bottom quartile, here's the middle quartile, or the middle group, and here's the top quartile. And franchisees are going to have to determine what they want to be. And generally, if you're somebody who's investing their life savings into a brand, they don't want to be on this side of the bell-shaped curve. They want to be over here. FDDs are interesting. I mean, I look at them very differently. I love looking at mature brands that are pivoting in their business model because every brand will go through some evolution or some change in what they do, and to show what the historical performance is based off of operations on a changing model and highlighting that, I think is really critical. I think for new brands that are emerging, whether it's company stores or franchise units, to be able to show the growth of the organization. So, adding as much historical data, maybe it's not just last year's, but maybe it's the last 2 years, last 3 years of data, so people who are investing, and these people are gonna be your partners for 10, 15, 20 years, can understand what they're getting into and can capitalize off that.